Hello friends, this is Deepa Shah from Think Quotient. Today we are going to learn about tuples or tuples in Python and also set. What is set in Python? So now starting with tuples, okay. We have already seen list. So list is basically a mutable. List is mutable. It is growable. It can hold heterogeneous data. Okay. Now talking about tuple. Okay, so tuple is basically immutable type. So the main thing of difference between list and tuple is that tuple is immutable. So once a tuple is created, okay, we can't change it. It is immutable. And list is, whereas we say list is what, mutable. Okay, so list is mutable and tuple is not, it's immutable. Now tuple is represented using round brackets over here. So tuple is represented this way. We'll write over here t is equal to, any variable is equal to, in round brackets with comma separated values we are going to specify over here. So tuples are defined by enclosing the elements in round parenthesis over here, whereas list we specify using which brackets over here is square brackets. So here we can see, if I hit over here and check type of t over here, what we will see over here, it's tuple. Now tuple basically is immutable. Immutable means it once the data is added, it can't be modified, extra can't be added over here or deleted. So the immutable types which we have seen till now, we have is all the basic data types, that is int, float, then we have is bool, then string, and then we have is complex, and now one more is added to the list is tuple. So tuple is also immutable. Immutable means once a tuple is created, we can't add a element or delete a element, or we can't add or remove a element. Okay, so now let's see over here. So now if I write over here is, suppose t, okay. Now for tuple also we have indexing. So the way we had for list, positive negative indexing both. So if I say t of 0 in square bracket, you can see it is giving me what over here is 1. Okay, if I say t of 2 over here this way, it is going to give me the second element, that is 2 over here. So tuple, in tuples also we have positive negative indexing both. So if I create a tuple like this, okay, and now if I specify over here is, suppose some name, a tuple can consist of any type of objects over here. So if I write over here is, suppose Om, then I write over here is 78, then I write over here is, suppose I write over here is true, and then I write a list over here 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am having heterogeneous element over here, and if I press enter and check t, it's perfectly fine. So like list, tuple is also a collection of heterogeneous data, but the main difference is that tuple we can't modify over here. Okay, so tuple, if I write over here is t of what, 0, I write over here t of 0, suppose, is equal to, and I write over here 900, and if I press enter, you can see tuple object does not support item assignment. Why? Because tuple is immutable. The main difference between list and tuple is that tuple is immutable, whereas list is mutable. We can change this, but if we same thing if we try to do over here, this is not allowed. Okay, now if we want to create a tuple, okay, so if I write over here this way, t is equal to empty tuple, if I want to create, I can create this way over here. So if I create this way and check what is the type over here, so if we see type of t, let's check the type of t, it's tuple. So this is my empty tuple, so you can create an empty tuple like this over here. Now if I want to create a tuple with one element, so if I write this way over here and I write 1, now let's check the data type over here. Okay, so now if we see, the type would be int over here. Okay, so when you have only one element in your this way if you write, so the data type over here will be according to the what value you put over here. It will not be taken as tuple, but it will be taken according to the data which you insert. Why? Because this is a single element over here, and parenthesis we use sometimes for operator precedence. So Python interpreter will take this as a normal integer variable 1, and it is trying to assign t with the value of 1. So it will not think that this is a tuple. Okay, so if you want to tell Python that this is not a single integer, it's actually I'm trying to create a tuple with one element, so you have to put over here comma, and now if you see over here, we will see it is what of type tuple. So if you have a single element, by what we have to do is write the single element and a comma also over there, which will tell the interpreter that this is a tuple over here. If you don't put comma, it will be a single object which will be of type either it could be integer or string according to what data you insert. Okay, we can also create a tuple using the function called tuple. So basically if I check S, it's a tuple. Okay, so from a string I have created a tuple using this tuple over here. So when I write this way, we can create from a given sequence. If you want to create a tuple, we have this in Python interpreter built in. We can say it's a function or constructor basically, using which we can create what tuple. So tuple is almost similar to list, but the main difference is that list is mutable whereas tuple is not, and tuple is represented in round brackets whereas list is represented in square brackets. Now with list we can do addition, deletion, modification, but these things are not possible with tuple. We can't modify, we can't do delete operation like we had pop and all those things over there, and also we can't add also. Okay, so now what are the things which we can do with tuple? First of all, we can have positive indexing as well as negative indexing. So if I print my S over here, if I want to extract this N over here, so if I write over here S of, okay, S of, and now the index is this last index we know, if it's we are doing negative indexing backwards, it will start always with -1, so it is giving you N. Similarly, we also have over here is suppose I write over here is suppose 2 colon. Let us check now. Okay, if I say S of 2, definitely will get T over here. Now if I say 2 colon, I'm trying to do slicing now over here. Okay, so indexing will give you a single element whereas slicing will give you a subpart of that. So if I do slicing over here, you can see it is giving me THON, a new we can say a tuple it is creating, and it is giving me in return over here. So when we start with 2 means 0 1 2, we are starting with T, and if we don't specify the end, by default it is going to take the end till the length of that tuple. Okay, so similarly we can also have, if I want to reverse my tuple, so we can say over here this way -1, this will give me the reverse thing. But always remember it is creating a new tuple, and that tuple we are getting in reversed order. The original tuple, even now if we check, it's the same data we have over here. Similarly, if I want to extract every alternate element, so what we can say over here is colon, and if I write over here 2 means every second element. So if, first you will get is P, then you will get is T, and then you will get is O. So this is the first element 0 plus 2 is 2 over here, 2 plus 2 is 4, then the fourth index element. So let us hit over here. Okay, I have not made use of comma, sorry, my mistake over here. Yeah, let us hit now. So you can see it has given us P and then T and then O over here. So the slicing operation which we have seen, the start value, the end value, and the step, we can specify over here. Start, if you don't specify, it is taken as 0. End, if you don't specify, it is taken till end, and step by default is what over here, 1. So if you want each and every element of the tuple, then we don't specify, then it will take it as 1. If you specify 2, it will take every second element. So starting index, it will take 0, and 0 plus 2 is this element, then again 2 plus 2 is this element. If I write over here 3, okay, so first element it will take is 0th, and 0 plus 3 is what, 3. So third position element, that is H, and after that we don't have only the string, the length is so we have over here is P, this is my first element, we can see over here is, and then 0 1 2 3, 0 plus 3 is 3, that is H it has given us. So we can perform slicing operation over here, we can do positive negative indexing over here. Also we can make use of in operator. The way we used to do is, in operator is basically used whether the given element is there in the tuple or not. So if I write A in, okay, and I specify over here is A E I O U, or instead of string I specify a tuple over here this way, and I specify over here is A, or I write over here is suppose the name as what, the comma, there are some things over here and something more over here. So this is basically a tuple of characters we can see over here. So if it is present, so tuple means how we are representing a tuple in parenthesis, round parenthesis over here. So if it is present in operator the way we were using with list string, same way we are using with tuple also. So if you want to find out whether in a tuple this given element is present or not, so we can make use of in and not in operator. Okay, these are nothing but what, membership operator. Now the most important thing which I would like to tell is, if I write over here t is I write over here t is equal to 1 comma 2. Okay, this way I'm writing, and now I press enter. I'm not using round brackets, I'm not writing anything, I just press 2 by 1 comma 2. And now if you check type of t over here, it would be tuple. So even if you don't put parenthesis over here, round parenthesis, we just write comma separated elements. Okay, so it will be taken as what, tuple. Now so if I write this way now, A is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, something like that. And now if I ask you what is the type of A, definitely even if I'm not using round brackets, you should understand that it will internally take it as what, tuple over here. Okay, and one more thing we have is, and this thing which we do over here, okay, by default actually it is called as what, packing. This thing, or writing this way also, the way we used to do normal round brackets, we write over here 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. This writing this way, or not even doing putting round brackets, both ways, but actual right way is using round brackets. But even we write without round brackets, it is going to consider it as what, tuple. So this is called as what, packing. This thing is called as what, packing in tuple. Okay, so we have a concept called packing and unpacking. Now let's see what is unpacking. Now unpacking means, if I write over here, suppose A is equal to 10 comma 90, I have written over here. Now what is the type of A? If I ask you, you will say it's a tuple. Okay, if we check over here type of A, so we can see it's a tuple. Now if I want to extract the value over here, okay, so what I want to do is, I want to extract the value and assign it to two variables. So what I can do is x comma y is equal to A. Okay, when I do this way, what will happen over here is, from this A, which is a tuple, the first value will be assigned to x, which is of, now the type of x would be int, and the next value will be assigned to what over here is y. So accordingly, what we are trying to do over here, so we can say it is unpacked. The individual items from this tuple are unpacked and assigned over here into this variables, or we can say variables x and y. So if I just enter over here, and if I check the value of x, it is 10, and if I check the value of y, it is 90. And now if I show you type of x, definitely it would be int. So what is unpacking? Unpacking basically means is extracting or removing the elements, individual elements, and putting them inside variables. See, packing means what? Packing means to a single variable you assign a tuple this way. T is equal to, you are assigning this way 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, something like that. So this thing is called as what? Packing. And what is unpacking? Unpacking means, if you write over here, suppose this way, A1 comma A2 comma A3 comma A4 comma is equal to, and you assign T. So you are assigning this tuple to these four variables. So what will happen over here is, this tuple, T is a tuple, it will be unpacked, and the individual items over here, that is 1 will be assigned to A1, 2, so this from this tuple one element will be extracted over here, individual elements will be extracted, and A1 will have the value 1, A2 will have the value 2, A3 will have 3, and A4 will have what? 4. So if I hit over here, this thing which we are doing over here is basically called as what? Unpacking. So if I check over here A1, so definitely we'll see it will have the value as what? 1, A2 will have the value as 2, A3 will have the value as 3, and A4 will have the value as what? 4. So unpacking, when you are unpacking, the most important thing is the number of elements your tuple has. Exactly same number of variables you should have over here. So by mistake, if I write over here is, suppose I write over here is A1 comma A2 and comma A3. Only I write 3 over here, and I write over here T. Immediately you will get an error over here. Too many values to unpack. Okay, value error we get over here. Why? Because if your tuple are having 4 elements inside it, so exactly 4 variables should be there while unpacking. Otherwise, it gives you what over here? Error. Okay, so packing, and now this thing which we have done, we were using actually previously also. So now if I ask you, okay, if I do this way, what I will do over here is T is equal to, we write over here 10 comma 20. Yes, so this is what a tuple now. And now if I write over here A comma B is equal to T. So what we have done is we have extracted it. Now instead of writing T over here, okay, instead of writing T over here, if I do this way now, A equals to 10, okay, B equals to 20. So these are my 2 variables that we know now. It's a normal int type of variable. If I check type of A at runtime, it will take the type as integer int, and for B also, these are my normal 2 variables. Now when you write A comma B is equal to B comma A, so what we are trying to do over here is this B comma A is basically what over here? A tuple. Okay, I told you that even if we don't put round brackets over here, this is taken as what? Over tuple. And this tuple we are unpacking over here, and now whenever you unpack, what is happening is the value whatever is there inside your tuple, the first value will be assigned over here and the second value will be assigned over here, and this will give us the swapping logic. So whenever we say we are doing swapping, actually it's we are doing packing and unpacking of tuple over there. Okay, so so in one line we are combining both statements over here, packing and unpacking we can combine into one line, and that we are directly, so this gives you the swap logic over here which we were doing. Are you getting what we are doing over here? So see, if I see now the value of A, if I print the value of A, okay, double time, okay, it's if I print the value of A over here, definitely you will see it as what? 20. So now see, so basically it's what? This is a tuple now. Even if I don't put round bracket, or even if I put a round bracket, this is a tuple, and this tuple we are unpacking. This way what we are doing over here is we are unpacking in this variable called A. So the first value over here, B, is getting extracted over here in A, and the second value is getting extracted over here in what? B. So now the value, initially the value of A was 10, B was 20. When you created a tuple using this AB variables over here, this is a tuple now, and now this tuple is unpacked over here. So while unpacking, the first data is assigned to this variable. So now the value of A will become 20 and the value of B will be what over here is 10. Okay, similarly we also say this way, if I write a function over here, just we have not done function, but then also tell sum, and I sum or some function I write over here cal, and I write over here A comma B. Okay, and now if we write over here is return A plus B comma A minus B comma A into B, and if I write over here A divided by B. Okay, so what we are trying to do over here is in a single return we are trying to return multiple values over here. Okay, now let's call the function. So if I write over here is the name of function is cal, and if I write over here 10 comma 2, okay, if I pass the value 10 comma 2, now this function is going to return you multiple values which are comma separated over here. So if I receive it in a variable called, any variable I take over here is S, or we can say result RESU or whatever R I take over here is equal to, and if I hit this function now, if I call this function over here, and now if what do you feel, what would be the type of R? Definitely it is going to be a tuple, because I told you even if you are not using round brackets, this is a tuple I am returning, and this tuple I am receiving in R over here. So if I check over here type of R over here, you will see it's a tuple. So when we say a function can return multiple values, basically it is returning a tuple. It's returning a single object, and that object is nothing but what over here? Tuple. Now instead of calling this way, can I do unpacking over here? Unpacking means what? Directly the tuple we have, उस tuple का individual elements will extract in separate variables. So if I write over here is S for sum, or I write over here addition, then I take difference for diff, comma, then I take over here prod, then I take over here is what? Division div. is equal to, and then I call a function over here cal 10 comma 20. So what will happen over here is now this function will be called, and whatever is the tuple it is sending back, okay, that tuple is getting unpacked. So the first value of that tuple will be assigned to add, the second to diff, third to prod, and fourth to div. So now if I check the value of add, it will be 10 because 10 plus 2 is 12. If I check the value of diff, it will be 8. Then if I check the value of prod, it will be 20, 10 to the 20, and if I check the value of diff, it will be 5.0 because 10 divided by 0 is 2 is question part, you will get 5.0. So whenever we write functions also in Python, we say a function can return multiple values over here, but it's returning a tuple, okay, and that tuple we can receive it as a tuple, or we can unpack and receive the contents over here. So unpack basically means is we are removing the individual elements from the tuple and assigning it to separate variable. That is called as what? Unpacking. So whenever we were doing swap logic over here, if I do swap logic or any logic over here, so what we are trying to do over here is we are trying, so when I write over here, suppose we do multiple initializations, so we did a comma b comma c is equal to, I write 1 comma 2 comma 3 suppose. So we said that multiple values can be assigned to different variables at the same time this way. So what do you feel, what would be the type of this 1 comma 2 comma 3? What is this? This is nothing but the tuple, everyone, okay, and this tuple is getting over here unpacked, and then it is getting assigned over here to a as 1, b as 2, and c as 3. So these things which we say that we are doing in one line, actually it's because of tuple everything is working out back in background, okay. So 1 comma 2 comma 3, I told you already, whenever we assign this way, and whatever variable you want to take, d is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3, even if I don't put round brackets over here, by default it is tuple only, don't forget this thing. And because of that I say this 1 comma 2 comma 3 is a tuple. On this spot here itself it's created, and that tuple is getting unpacked on this variable called a comma b comma c. Unpack means removing one element and assigning it to different variables over here. So this is because of this in Python we say that swapping logic is easy, or we can assign in a single go multiple values. So everything, this thing is because of what? Tuple. Now can we use which operator over here is which we have is star. Okay, let's see now what we can do. So if I have a tuple over here with value 1 comma 2 comma 3, and if I have a tuple t2 is equal to 4 comma 5 comma 6, and now if I use over here t1 plus t2, so what I am trying to do is I am trying to concat two tuple. So you can see these two tuples are concated. This is actually a new tuple. T1 is still the same, t2 always will be the same, okay. We so when you use plus operator, it is concatenating, or we can say combining the both the tuples and giving you a new tuple over here. And that tuple, if you want to store, we can store over here like this. Okay, so if I store over here like this, and then if I hit t3 over here, this is a new tuple which is created by concatenating both the tuples. Similarly, if I write over here t1 into 3, okay, so when can we do multiplication operator over here? So what is the use of multiplication? It is basically replication operator, replication. Okay, so this, if you see, the original list had contents 1 2 3, okay, so 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. So this tuple has replicated itself 3 times. So plus operator will do concatenation, star operator will do replication. Similarly, we also have, now if these are the two tuples, can I make use of greater than less than sign over here? So if I say t1 greater than t2, so you will get false. See, if all these things we have already seen that what are the operators we can apply on tuples. So when you apply plus, it will do concatenation over there. When you apply star, it is going to do replication. Now all relational operators, whenever we do, it will do element by element. So first wherever the difference it will find, accordingly it will give you. So first it has compared 1 and 4, and now I have written over here, what I have written is t1 greater than t2. So first element itself is not same, okay, so it has given you what over here is false. So if all the elements were greater over here like this, all the elements are greater over here, then if I hit over here down, definitely it will give me what over here? True. So it is doing element by element comparison. So if all the elements are greater, it will return you true, otherwise it will return you what over here is false. Similarly, now let us check are there any functions available. So yeah, if you want to get built-in functions, which we have is length. So if you want to get length of any tuple, so we can say t1 dot length of t1 or whatever. So length is basically Python interpreter functions we have is length. Similarly, we also have a function called sum, which will give you the sum of all the elements. Similarly, we also have a function called max. So if I want to find which is the maximum element in the tuple, so that is 31. Now if I print and show you this t1 first, it's 11, 12 and 31. So the max is 31 and mean will give you, will get what is over here is, what is the mean over here is, sorry, mean T1, give me the mean from this, so it will give you 11. So we have already seen these functions were available in string, these are available in list, and the same functions we can use with tuple also. Okay, these are Python interpreter built-in functions. So mean, max will give you the minimum and maximum from the given sequence. Sum will give you the sum of all the elements, and length will give you the length over here. Similarly, we also have seen there is a function called sorted. So for that, what I'll do is I'll create one tuple over here. T1 is equal to, with random values over here, 23, 1, 56, 78, 2. Okay, and now if I say sorted, okay, we have seen sorted will give you a new list over here. Okay, so if I say sorted of T1, this is going to give you a list, and that also by default it will sort in which order? Ascending order. If you want descending order, then we can write over here is what? Reverse is equal to true. When you say reverse is equal to true, so now what will happen over here is true T capital. So it will give me now in descending order over here, and we can see descending order over here. Now if I want to convert this list into tuple back, then what I should do? So if I want to convert this, we can use this function over here is tuple, and what we can write over here is, okay, this list we can store over here this way. So list of sorted over here and tuple from this list, and if we want to store, so we got a tuple, round brackets over here, this is a tuple. Okay, so this is the way we can do. Now can we have tuple inside tuple? Yes, of course, nesting of tuple nested, so that is also possible. So 1 comma 2 comma, again over here 1 comma 2 comma 3, again over here. So heterogeneous elements, a list can be there, it could have anything over here. Okay, so anything over here. And now if I hit over here, so it's perfectly fine. Now if I write over here, so this element is 0, 1, 2. So if I write T1, sorry, okay, I just put over here 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8. If I hit over here, and now if I say T1 and in square bracket 0, 1, 2. Okay, so it will give me the nested tuple over here. And if I want to extract this 3, the way we did in list, in this square bracket, so first we will get the inner nested tuple, that is we specify 2, and from that what we want the second element 0, 1, 2, so this will give us 3. So in tuple you can have heterogeneous elements, everything is possible over here, and it's almost same like list, but the main point of differentiation over here is tuple is immutable, whereas list is mutable. And one more thing is we have the concept of packing, unpacking in tuple. Unpacking means extracting the individual elements and assigning it to variables over here, so that is called as unpacking. Now moving to functions, so if I say over here is, suppose I have a tuple over here this way, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, and if I say T1 dot, okay, T1 dot, and if I press over here, I feel it's remove. Okay, we have T1 dot, let's see, okay, we'll just go over here. Okay, so help, and we can say over here is T1, and now you can see we have only two functions over here is count and index. Okay, so count will give you the number of occurrences, and index will return you the first position. So what does this mean is basically is, if I write over here, what I'll write over here, T1, if I just print over here and I say T1 dot count, and count the occurrences of suppose 10. Now 10 is not there, so it will definitely give you what over here is 0. But if I see, can we have duplicates in tuple? Definitely yes, we can have. So if I write over here this way and again over here, so I am having 2 occurrences of 2. Okay, we can have duplicates over here. So if I say t1 dot count the occurrences of what over here, the same function we have in list, so it will give me the number of occurrences over here. 2 is there, how many times over here is, it has given me 1. Why so? Okay, let me run again. Count. Why 2 count t1? Okay, I'm not, okay, let me hit it, and now it will give me, because I have not changed, now it will give you as what 2. Okay, because actually I didn't modify the t1 reference variable over here, it was still pointing to the old tuple. So now it is pointing to this tuple which is having multiple 2 occurrences of 2 over here. So count is basically going to give you the count of number of time that value occurs, and index is going to give you the first position over here. So if I ask what is the index of 3, so now the index of 3 we know is what, 2. And if I ask over here t1 dot give me the index of the element which is not present over here, okay, so now it gives you what over here is error, because index function is basically taking a element over here, okay, and it is returning you the position over here at that index. Okay, that's what we can see over here also. So index function returns first index of the value. So whatever is the value you pass, it will take the first index over here. So if that value is not present, it will give you error, value error. So what we can do over here is the way we did previously also. First check whether it's there or not using in operator. So you can check first 90 in 90, sorry. So what we can do over here is we can check 90 in t1, and if it's there, then give me the index over here is t1 dot index of what, 90. So now if the first condition is true, then only AND operator will come and try to solve. If not, it will not. So now we are not getting error over here. So in tuple we have 2 functions inbuilt over here, that is index, okay, and count. So index will give you the first index over here. By default it is starting with 0. So if you want the second occurrence over here, you can specify the start value. So if I say over here index of, suppose I say now over here is t1 dot index of 2, if I say over here, okay, so definitely the position I will get over here, okay, this I have not changed. So it will give me always the first position, but if I want to know the second position, so you also can specify the second over here parameter as what, index number. So if I pass over here as 2, start searching from second position, so now I'll get the index of second 2, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you open help over here, you can see all the definitions what they have specified. So value over here, basically value is what over here is the what we want to search for, and by default the start is 0. So if you don't specify start, it will take it as 0. If you don't want to search always the first position, you want to search the second occurrence, so wherever is your first occurrence, wherever you get your first occurrence of 2 over here, so over here my first occurrence of 2 is at position 0, 1. So 1, so I gave 2, start searching from this position, second position, and then it gave me the occurrence of over here is what, 2. So if you want to find the next occurrence, we will give previous occurrence plus 1, that is the index we specify over here. So now it will start searching ahead of that index, and whichever is the first occurrence you will get over here. So index is basically used to find the index of the given value. If you want to find the position or index number, we give that, we use function called index, and count is used to count the number of occurrences over here. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, now if I want to iterate a for loop over a tuple, the way we do is for I in t1 colon print, and what I'll say over here is I. So you can see it has This is of iterable type, so it will, from this iterable type, it will remove one element over here, and we can see now we have 1 2 3 4. That's what we had in our tuple T1. Okay, the data. So if I print T1, you can see we had this data, and from now using this basically for loop is iterating over the iterable and removing one element over here, and we are printing it using a for loop. So tuple is basically immutable in nature, but it can store heterogeneous data. It can have duplicates. It's index based collection, so you can use indexing also over there. Okay, you can have heterogeneous, so inside a tuple you can have another tuple, inside tuple you can have list. So any form is available over here. You can use plus operator, star operator for application. Then you can also do concatenation using plus operator. Then the two functions which are available with tuple are index and count, and the built-in functions which we have, that is length, max, mean, then sum, and then sorted. All these things we can apply on what tuple. Okay, so this is, and the most important thing is packing and unpacking. Don't forget that this thing which we do over here is T is equal to doing round brackets, putting 1 2 3 4. This is called as packing, and extracting the data in individual elements over here is called as what? Unpacking. Okay, so this thing is called as what? Unpacking. And even if we write this way 1 2, this is also a tuple. Don't forget, even if we are not using round bracket, round parenthesis over here, this is a tuple. Okay, so this is all about tuples we have. Now moving to the next collection is set. Composite data type is set. Okay, so set is basically, so what all things we have done is, so we have seen is list, we have seen is string, then we have done is list, and then tuple, and now after tuple we are moving to a next composite data type or collection we can say is set. And set is represented by this curly braces over here. So now actually dictionary is also represented by curly braces, and set is also represented by curly braces. So if I check over here type of S, it will definitely give me dict. Okay, this will give me as what? Dict. So if you want to create a empty set, so what we can do over here is set, and now we can pass over here. If you want, you can pass this way also, no problem. So it will create a blank set over here. Now if we say empty set basically and say type of S, now it will give you what? Set. Okay, now set is basically used when you want to store unique things. You don't want duplicates. Set is always going to store unique elements or unique items. Elements, we can say it is going to store unique elements, and inside set only those elements which we can store is which are of hashable type. Okay, so inside set we can store only those objects which are of which type? Hashable type. What does this mean now? Suppose I create a set this way, S is equal to curly brackets, and I write, but so if I write over 1 2 3 4 if I put duplicate over here 2 2, let's see what it does. Okay, and now if I print this S, you can see even though if I have entered twice 2 over here, it has taken 2 only once. Okay, so first thing is in set duplicates are not allowed, and actually the data is maintained internally on basis of hashing technique. So even if, so we can't, there is no index related to set. So if I say S of 0, so we don't have index and slicing concept related to this. If I do so, you will get an error over here that set object is not what over here? Subscriptable. Why? Because in set we don't have index over here, because the data is stored on basis of hashing technique, that is hash code we have, hash function we have. So the elements which are of hashable type, in background it is using the hashing technique to store the data. Depending upon the hash value it is stored, function it is storing. So the elements which are of hashable type, only those we can store. So if I write over here S is equal to, suppose I write over here is curly brackets, I write 1 2 3. Can I put a string over here, something like that? Okay, can I put, let us check. Yes, we can do over here. So if I check, it's perfectly allowed. Can I do over here is 1 2 3 4 a float value over here? That is also perfectly fine, no problem over here. Okay, can we do is S is equal to inside set, can we have a tuple? So if I say 1 2 3, a tuple over here and I say 78 comma 90 over here, and then I complete it over here, this is also perfectly fine. And if you see, the tuple has come over here because it is, the insertion order is not preserved. It's on the basis of hashing technique, hash function, it is doing everything. So that's why we are so we can't say the if I have entered first, so we'll get for one only as the first element. Basically it is calling the hash function and doing everything. Now can we store a list inside a set? So let's see over here, s is equal to, if I write curly brackets 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma a tuple in between 89 comma 9, and now if I try to insert a list 90 comma 9, okay, and if I hit, immediately you will get what? Unhashable type list. Okay, so inside set we can store only hashable type of data. Now what is hashable? If you see help on list function, help on which function we'll see first is suppose tuple. Okay, help on tuple. So these are the methods which are there inside your this. And if you, okay, if you go over here, you can see it has the function internally over here underscore hash, and it is returning, it is calling something and it is returning you something. So we have a hash function implemented inside your tuple class. Okay, same thing if I try to open and check list. Okay, so if we go and check list over here, you will see that hash function is by default set to none. It has not been overridden. So this, see, those collections which have implemented the collections or string or whatever you can say, even we see help on int or string, whatever you want to check. So int, if we check over here, so you will see that int has also given implementation to the hash function over here. Yes, we can see over here. So these are all hashable type, but list is not hashable type and dict is also not hashable type. So inside set you can store only those type of objects which are of which type? Hashable type. Okay, now for a set we don't have indexing and slicing concept. So for set we won't have, indexing. No indexing over here is allowed because there is no index concept only over here. So no indexing and no slicing is allowed for set collection, set type of data type. Okay, so we can't do any indexing to it. If I want to get the data, can I get the data using indexing? No, I can't get it. Okay, now so so basically now let us see what are the functions available with set. So if I say now help of suppose set. Okay, so now what all things we can see over here is, we have a thing called over here is length contains. Okay, these are okay. So what all things we can see over here is intersection, then intersection update, is subset, is disjoint, then is superset, pop, remove. Okay, symmetric difference update, union update over here, and all these methods. So now basically the way we do in maths. Okay, maths, what we have two sets. If I want to find a union of two sets, then union is what basically, now see, I'll show you. If I have a set over here is 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and suppose I have a second set over here is s2 is equal to, I have over here is some data over here should be common. So if I write 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8. Okay, and now if I say s1 dot, okay, union, and if I say union s2, okay, s2 over here, now what you can see over here is it has given you a set over here in which it has given combination of both, the union of both the sets, but the duplicate elements it has taken only once. So 4 and 5 was over here also and here also, so it has taken it only once. So union is giving you union of both the sets with the elements which were common, it has taken it only once. Okay, and this is a new set. Okay, so this is a new set which it has written. So if you want to store it, you can write over here is s3 is equal to. So if I write like this, and now if I check over here s3, so you can see it is union of both the sets. Basically the common elements it will take only once, and the other and union, it will do union of both the sets. So similarly we also have over here is intersection. And intersection, if I say S2, now intersection basically means is what over here is the common element. So if you take the concept of set, which we know now, we have learned in math. So if you have a set over here like this, okay, and another set over here like this, okay, so this is a set we have over here. Now what is this thing called over here is basically is, okay, so this thing which we have over here, so this thing which we have over here is called as what? Intersection. So if I am having over here is 1 comma 2 comma 3 and the intersection over here, so this set is having a element, the common intersection point over here is 4 comma 5. Okay, it means 4 and 5 is present over here also and in this set also. That is the intersection of both the sets. So this is called as, this thing is called as what? Intersection. And over here we had 6 7 8. So intersection means what? These two sets, this is my first set, this is my second set, these are two sets I am having. From these two sets, what are the common things which we have that we are going to put over here, and that common thing if we want to remove in this set over here in Python, we can use which function over here is intersection. So intersection is going to give you the intersection over here. So if we see S1 still it's unmodified, S2 if we see still it's unmodified, intersection gave you a new set over here with the common elements. If you want the update in what to say, in that S1 itself, if you want to update, then we have another method over here called intersection update. Okay, now if I write over here S2, let's see what it is doing over here. So if I print S1, now you will see it will have what? The intersection elements. So update method is going to modify the set on which it was called, and in this S1 now you are going to have only the intersection elements, and other elements will be removed. So it has now only 4 and 5. It has been updated. So intersection will give you a new set over here in which you will have the intersection elements from both the sets. Whatever you have common elements, it will return you a new set over here. So, and whereas if you see S1 was still the original elements, it was having an S2 also, whereas intersection update now is going to update this set over here on which it was called. So now that set has got what over here is 4 and 5. Similarly, we also have methods called is subset. Okay, is subset, is superset, and these things we have. So is subset means what? First I'll tell. Okay, is subset, and then we pass over here S2. Okay, let me check what is first S1. I'll show you S1 and S2. Okay, now if I write over here S1 dot is subset, okay, of S2. So whether this is a subset means what? Whether all the elements which are present in S1, if they are present in S2, then this method will return you true. Now because we have only 4 and 5 over here, and 4 or 5 are present in this set also, that is we have over here is which 6 7 this next S2 we have over here also. Okay, now can I add an element over here? So we can add an element using add. So if I add in S1, suppose 34 comma 56, sorry, 34 I add over here. So we have a method called add, and again I add over here is 90. So now what I will do is, okay, dot add. Now if I check S1, let us check S1. So using add operator, we have added the data S2, so we can modify the set over here. So S1 is having this data, S2 is having this data over here. Now if I check whether S1 sub means it is a subpart or not, so whether all the elements contained in this set, first set, if they are present in second set, then we will say it is a subset. So now if we check, we have in the first set is 4 5 34 90, which is not present in this set over here. So we will say this is not a subset over here, it will return you false. Similarly, if we write S1 dot is superset. Now super means what? All the elements of second set, all the elements of this set which we are passing, if they are present in the first set, okay, then we will say what? This is what? A superset. But now also it is going to give us false, because we don't have in second set we have 6 7 8, and that 6 7 we don't have over here. So if I hit over here add method this way, so or I create a set over here, S1 is equal to, I hit over here is 23 comma 45 comma 1 suppose 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have included all the elements over here. And now if I hit this statement, S1 is superset of S2. Now S1 has got all the elements of the second set, that is S2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is a superset. Yes, it is a superset. So we will see now, it will return you what? True. Super means what? This is a parent, we can say, like, and it should have all the things which are present in S2. If it has, it will give you true. Whereas in subset, what we see is the elements which are present in S1 should be present in which? S2. Similarly, we also have a thing called disjoint. So if I say is disjoint over here and I pass S2 over here, so you can see it is giving you false over here. Okay, disjoint means all the elements should be different, nothing should be same. So if I write over here is suppose 1, 2, 3, and if I write over here is S2 is equal to, suppose I write over here 4, 5, 6. Okay, and now if I write over here S1 dot is disjoint. Okay, returns true if the two sets have null intersection. Okay, so now there will be no intersection over here. Yes, so if I write over here is S2, and now you can see it's returning what? True. So if there is not a single element which is common, then it is going to return you what over here is true. So these are some of the methods. I feel there is also one more method which we have over here is, so we have update. Okay, what is update doing over here is updating a set with the union of itself and others. Means what now? I'll show you what is update. Okay, update, then we have done is union. Okay, remove is there, pop is there. Okay, discard will also remove an element from set if it is a member. Difference, okay, we have difference also, copy, clear. Okay, so let's see now. So we'll move down over here. So now we have is, what we have is, this is my S1, this is my S2, nothing is common over here. I need to put something as common. Suppose I put over here is 4, 4 I put over here. Okay, so this is my one element, I'll just hit this. Okay, and now if I show you my S1, so S1 is having 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I show you S2, it's having, so one element we have common is 4. So if I do one S1 dot union, okay, of S2, what we have seen is it will give you union of both the sets with common elements only 1. But even if I check over here S1, it's still unmodified, and if we check over here S2, it's still unmodified. But if I write over here S1 dot update, okay, and I pass over here S2, okay, and now if I check S1, it is having what over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if we check S2, it is having still 4, 5, 6. Okay, what is update method doing over here? So S1 method, if you see over here, it has updated the set. So update method, basically, see in this what we have seen is this is a union over here we got, but S1 was the original S1 set was not affected over here. It has created a new set. Okay, it has the way we said intersection update, same way. So when you say update, update will update the original set. So all the union, it will do union, and accordingly it will update the original set over here. So S1 is now having over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The union which we got over here, that same data is now reflected in S1, and S2 is still holding the set which we had over here. Okay, so update and union, both are doing union only over here, but union is creating a new set, whereas update is what it is doing over here is it is updating the original set over here, S1 set over here. Okay, in that it is bringing the change. Similarly, clear is just going to clear over here, nothing else. So clear is just going to clear over here, empty the set over here. So it will go empty the set over here. Okay, now if I do over here again 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now what we have over here, the next element is S1 dot remove. Okay, remove round bracket, and we give the element which you want to remove, and it must be the member. If not, it will give you key error. Means what? If I say S1 dot remove 3, so 3 is present, no problem, this will work perfectly fine, and 3 is removed. But if I say S1 and I say dot remove over here and say remove 90, it will give me error. So using in operator we can check whether first the element is present in set or not. So 90 in set and what 90 in set, what I'm writing, not set name I should specify over here.